in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Please welcome.
Please welcome.
Please welcome.
Welcome to the gayest podcast ever.
Hello and welcome to the gayest podcast ever. I'm Josh and I'm here with
Eric
and CJ.
Boys. We're here. We made it a full year.
1 year.
Happy 1 year anniversary.
Oh,
fantastic.
I wish somebody would have told us what 2020 was bringing.
Right. Oh my God, did we bring up high in 2020?
If they could see us now.
I think the second half of the year felt like a whole year so far.
I don't know how we're circling fall again. How is that possible?
You know how like certain TV shows now the new thing is like part A of a season and part B of a season?
Right.
Like, are we entering part B?
Right.
Was that
this is level 9 of Jumanji.
Yeah. The mid-season finale was that we ended on a bang with the big, explosion today.
It was part C for COVID.
Oh, gross.
I told you we shouldn't have called those corners.
Was that the weekend that we came up with the idea of the podcast?
No, that was Saugatuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But we opened the corners. Yeah. We opened them. Maybe we should have closed it. That gate's wide open. We'll have to have a closing ceremony. We'll bring sage.
Not if my new cottage, you're not. Oh no.
We'll smudge it. We'll light some sage. We'll play some Enya. I'm assuming that's what happens.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, but so it's been a year. We had a lot of laughs, a lot of drinks, a lot of good times. A lot
of weight up and downs.
Oh my God. We were just talking about shirts and not fitting, and we're like, oh, when was the last time I wore this? March,
remember when you wanted to be a skin when you played sports? You're like, skins. Now you're like, shirt.
Yeah. I'll be 2 shirts, please. Thanks.
I'm still team I don't want to wear a shirt. Putting a shirt on
my tan is pretty on point this summer, so I don't.
Same. And I feel like I haven't even been out in the sun that much, but like last time I was over at the pool, like 3 people was like, wow, your tan looks great. And I'm like, it's been weeks. It's just holding on.
Yeah, I'm planning on going up north the next 2 weekends, so I'm just going to keep this dark complexion as dark as can be because, once we're all locked back up inside, it's going to get real sad again and real dark and pale. But, so what have you boys been up to this week? What's anything on your mind that you're reeling from? Eric, I can already tell.
Oh my God, so much. Do you want? Okay,
you go ahead and go first.
All right, just lots happening in the reality TV world. So Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is coming to a close, and they all pretty much hate Denise Richards. Like, I feel so bad for her. This girl flew on a vacation. They're on their like all girls trip cast vacation. So she arrives in Rome, and basically Brandy had told everyone that she basically cheated on her husband, and they had like a lesbian affair. And they all decided to confront her in Rome, like halfway around the world.
In Rome, not like in their backyard or on their couch.
So like this poor girl like doesn't even want to be with these girls to begin with, and now like it's getting so much worse, and the finale's coming. So I'm very curious to see how that's playing out. Real Housewives of Potomac just started.
Okay, wait, back to Denise real quick. Like, was that not her contract? Oh, you're going to be the villain of the show?
Literally, the problem with her is I don't think she knows what she was signing up for. Like, I don't get people that go on these shows and they're like, we never watched it. Because every time she wants to stop shooting a scene, she literally is like, bravo, bravo, bravo. And like she'll just start screaming bravo and like yelling at the producers, and she'll be like, please don't air this. Do not film this.
It's
and like
not
all
a
the other
movie
girls are looking at her like
show.
They're gonna air it. Stop talking. Like,
it's reality, not a movie or TV show. You can't yell cut.
This actually makes me believe that it's a little bit more unscripted than I thought.
Oh, it is very unscripted. Like, no. And like, they're all just like, you were married to Charlie Sheen. Like, she's just trying to act real proper. And even like her friend Lisa Rinna is like calling her out. She's like, Denise, I feel like you're portraying somebody that you want the world to see. She's like, last year you were fun and you were just forthcoming with all this information. Now this year you're just, no, don't talk about sex in front of my kids. Like, you talk about how Charlie Sheen brought a hooker to Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh my goodness.
I miss the summer of Tiger Blood. That was way more fun than the summer of COVID.
Oh my God.
Oh.
But that just, and then Real Housewives of Potomac started. Josh, I think that's the one I had you watch with me last year.
That's the one with the gay husband. I'm using air quotes very loosely.
Yes. Michael, and it's already starting with his grinder affair stuff. They're diving right in. His wife just had a baby. She's 26. He's 60. It's this whole thing.
Ew.
Then
good for her. Snaps for her.
Before we just started the podcast, Josh sent me a picture on Instagram, which I'm screaming over. But it's with Kristen Cavallari from Laguna Beach. Very Cavallari. Just announced her divorce from Jay Cutler. She's sitting on Stephen Colletti's lap with her arms around his neck. And she's like, 2004 or 2020? And I'm like, I need to know more information.
Cue the Hillary Duff. Let the rain fall down. I'm coming clean.
Did you watch Laguna Beach?
No, I did not.
Oh, we watched it in the dorm rooms. It was
college. It was
good.
huge.
What year was that?
Like 2004 or 5?
2003, 2004. Yeah.
Oh, I'd moved out the dorms, so I was.
Yeah,
you didn't have a TV in your regular apartment.
I tried to work a full-time job.
I remember finding like the cutest girls on like the floor and being like, "Oh, you guys are watching Laguna Beach? Let me come watch with you." Oh, you've got some free Bush beer? Yes.
Bush beer.
You know, we're 18.
Trying to step out your wine cooler.
Ooh, is that what was that?
Is that Strawberry Hill Boone's Farm?
Zima, yeah.
Zima.
Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Oh, ask the reflex just thinking about it.
You know, that was it Blue Sky or something, or Sky? I don't know.
Sky had their own like Zima.
Yeah, it was something
Zima
like that.
was good with Jolly Ranchers. If you just have some Jolly Ranchers.
I never did that.
Mm-hmm.
Too funny. How about you, CJ? What's going on over there in your neck of the woods?
Literally just read this like 30 minutes ago, and so I want to get your opinion. So Disney Plus, obviously we've talked about Disney Plus. We're a big fan of the streaming thing. They just announced.
I know what he's going to say.
Yeah,
I have a comment already. Go for it.
So they just announced that they were going to release Mulan on this Disney Plus, but they want you to pay $29.99 to access this and stream it. After you're already paying so much a month for Disney Plus, like, now they're going to try to push these movie releases out for $30.
That's like the movie I tried to rent.
Yeah. I want your opinions.
Oh, I literally saw it and I text Spencer. I go, Disney's lost their goddamn mind. And his first thing, he's very logical. I'm very impassioned. Shocking, right? And I've already was like 2 claws in. And he's like, well, Josh, he's like, for a family of 4 to go to the movies, they would easily spend $30.
Well,
and I was like, well, don't say that to me, because I really felt empowered that there's just the 2 of us sitting here at home watching our Disney Plus, and $30 to rent a movie just seems insane to me. If you don't even own it.
Well, that's like the Pete, the guy from Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
we were going to rent his movie about his firefighter, and me and Dan were sitting here, and I was like, $7, sure. I looked, and it was like $20. I'm like, what? No. And Dan's the same way. He's like, well, in a movie theater, that's what it would cost. It's like, they have to make their money. I'm like,
now, usually once a movie hits where you can rent it or buy it, I just usually opt to buy it, because if I'm going to pay $6 or if I'm going to pay 15 to 19, sometimes I just go ahead and buy it. But that's different. So streaming, like, we're just renting it for $30. No thanks. But to your point, if it was a family of 4, yes, you would pay that much. But Josh, you and I have talked about this. Do you think that this, because they said this is a test for other movies that they may release, do you think this is going to be a good way? Do you think it's going to be successful?
It's really hard, because I've already heard several studios say certain movies, they're just going to wait for the theaters to reopen. They just don't, they want that experience and everything like that. And I'm on the fence. Because one of the main things, especially like the Marvel movies, that makes Disney a lot of money. Like, they literally make so much money at the box office. Like, I get trying to wait. And I also really love seeing them at the movie theater in that Dolby Atmos and the big leather recliner. And I love that.
Are we talking about a new Mulan movie? Are they like
live action?
I was like, can't you just go buy the DVD for like $12 at Target? Like,
No.
what is the big deal, boys? Like,
But in my opinion, that was probably going to be the better version than the new live action. So
Yeah, well, and
who's playing Mulan?
an unknown, but
Okay.
this poor Mulan, like this movie has been like, it's just not like Disney sunk too much money into it. They've got to try and make some money back.
there's
spent
no
a lot of money.
singing.
There's no singing. There's no
Maybe I'll watch
music. Yeah, they kind of got rid of like the Eddie Murphy Mushu character. There's no it looks very serious. And then also like right around the time, because it was supposed to be launched in March and then COVID happened and they just kept delaying it. Now they're trying to figure out what the fuck to do with it. And apparently there's a lot of drama with the main actress who plays Mulan. Like there's a lot happening in China and Hong Kong that I only somewhat understand political wise. And she made a very defiant statement and it's divided a lot of people. So like the whole Mulan movie, if I was them, I would just try and, they just lost, $3 billion at the parks.
Well, it's
or
interesting
something
that they said that this was a test to see how many people would actually buy it. I'm like, of all movies, you're going to choose like the one that no one's looking forward to actually watching.
It's a bad time.
I've never even watched the cartoon Mulan, so
Eric didn't even know it was happening, so I think it's a terrible test.
what's the big deal? I can see if my niece has the DVD if you want to borrow it.
Oh my God.
Maybe one of our moms has like the VHS and the big white cassette.
My
tape.
mom has
Like-
a Disney.
like,
My mom
all
has a
those
Disney vault
movies
in her
that,
house.
like,
Of all this from when Ariana was little, my mom has like Pinocchio and Beauty and like every one of them. Every time they release it out of the vault, my mom's like the first person in line.
she bought into it. Them creating the vault was like the smartest idea ever because I was the exact same way. Now it's on DVD. It's out of the vault. I got to get it right now. And then like, it's going back in the vault.
Yeah, once it goes back in. Yeah, once it goes back in, it won't be released. Like, come on, in 15 years, you're going to open that vault right back.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Good thing that, Disney, they should just come out of the vault, come out of the closet, live their best lives. And Disney Plus freed the vault, and now it's all just there for your consumption. But yeah, so that was fascinating. Glad that we talked about all that.
Wait, when one of you guys pay $30, invite me over and I'll watch it.
Spencer did say, because I have I think there's 7 profiles on my Disney Plus account. I was like, well, if I do charge each of them like $5, I guess I could watch it for free, essentially.
No, I
start getting Venmos like, cancel.
Well, it's sort of like when the Garth Brooks thing was supposed to be at the movie theater, and you're like, well, I'm not paying $50, but if I took a carload of people and then we all divided that out, well, that's not so bad.
And that was just like at the point where we're like, God, it's something to do.
Yeah. Oh, COVID. We'll have to go back and listen to like our first few episodes and see how things were that compared to now.
Right.
Or maybe not. It might be dark and scary.
Did we drink more or less pre-COVID?
I think I exercised more during COVID. Like I would go on walks and stuff all the time, but I definitely drank more too.
Yeah.
Dan mentioned the other day when we were outside and he was talking to Matt Keeney at the pool and he was like, oh, well, I don't really drink every day now since I'm back at work, but Eric's still continuing. And I just looked over and I was like, judgmental.
Right.
There is no shame in your game.
Right.
You do what you got to do. All right. Well, boys, let's go ahead and I think we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll jump into our first topic with Mr. CJ.
I love the way that you talk.
And we're back, and to start things off, let's turn it over to Mr. CJ Meeks. And what's on your plate, sir?
Ooh, I got a full name introduction. I like that.
I didn't go Clarence, but
next it'll be Mr. Meeks. I'm not used to going first. This is odd. I don't like it. Anyways, so thank you, Netflix, for holding off on some new shows to the latter part of COVID and summer, because I've done nothing but binge watch the past couple of weeks, and I've gone through 4 shows. So although I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to talk to about, what I do want to talk about is Umbrella Academy Season 2 just got released. Have any of you seen season 1?
I don't even know what it's about.
Oh, good.
So I've seen season 1. I have seen season 1, so I have some backstory. But also, CJ, I saw an interview with the CEO or the VP of like content development for Netflix, and he literally said they have like some 2,000 hours worth of television pre-recorded. So they're like, we are good through COVID. So like, when everyone else is running out of shit, Netflix is like, let's just keep dropping shit.
Yeah, I mean, I've literally watched 4 different shows in the past 2 weeks. Just like. They're only 10 episodes each, so you can get through them quickly. Anyways, so Umbrella Academy Season 2 was released on Friday. It took me literally 2 days to watch it all. Loved it. Season 2 was so much better than Season 1. So if you don't know anything about it, Eric, this is for you. And I'm going to try to be as spoiler-free as possible because there's a lot of possible spoilers. But it starts off with she's a young teenage girl at a pool. She's flirting with a boy and she gets in the water. Everything's normal about her. When she gets in the water, blood starts forming around her. She starts having cramps, gets out. Well, she's fully pregnant. And she gives birth to a baby right there. So this is the first 5 minutes of the show. Josh is like,
I'm more watching, but okay, keep going.
I'm watching Eric's face, listening to it because it's way better.
Yeah. So what you find out is 31 women that day woke up perfectly normal. No one was pregnant, and by the end of the day, they had all had babies. So this happened.
If your daughter came home like that,
right? some Virgin Mary shit going on there. So anyway, so that was back in the 70s. So they kind of give you a little backstory and say that this guy went and he basically bought or adopted 7 of those kids because he was interested in what was going on. Well, they all have superpowers, we turned out. And so he basically creates a super team. So they're fighting crime and all this stuff as teenagers. But as they get older, they start to break up and go their separate ways. And then when the show really starts, their father has died, so they all come back together for the funeral, and that's where shit happens.
I will say I love any show where one of the matriarchs dies in the first episode, and then we're all just playing catch up, and it brings everyone together.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so what happens with all the other super mutants?
We don't know.
That's why there's going to be unlimited seasons, Eric.
Right. So there's 7 kids.
It's a really smart plot point for the creative team.
Yeah, and it's called because the patriarch of the show was the heir to some umbrella company. He basically calls the group the Umbrella Academy. So that's what the movie or the show's about. So it stars Ellen Page.
Oh, I love Ellen Page. Okay.
What happened to Ellen Page before this? We had Juno.
She just made the show Tales of the City.
She did Tales of the City.
She was in Tales of the City. That's right.
And she did the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where everything was kind of sideways.
Inception.
That was
that was pretty much
2 thumbs down.
Same, Eric. I saw it once. I was like, never again.
Dan was like, do you want to see The Matrix 2? Or I was like, no. And don't ask me to go see The Matrix 3.
Oh, I like The Matrix. They're coming out with another one, I think.
Well, they've run out of ideas, so it's just going to be Legally Blonde 35.
I would be fine with that, as long as Reese is in it.
Oh, she'd be a sassy older sassy older blonde lady. The show really takes a pivot point.
She's in the nursing home, trying to get votes for nursing homes.
Or Kerry Washington, her BFF, could just come to it.
I love that.
Yes.
So it also has Tom Hopper. What has he been in besides this?
He was. Did you ever see Hidden Figures?
Yes. No. Oh, he was
he's John Glenn or
John
the first
Glenn,
name in space. Eric, if you've not seen Hidden Figures, it's about the black. Huh?
I tried it. I didn't like it.
I love it.
About the 3 black women who spearheaded NASA?
No.
I didn't think you.
Stranger Things, I'm thinking of.
Oh, no. So, it's a movie. It's got Cookie. It's got from.
Oh, Taraji Henson.
Yes,
yeah.
I just watched the movie with her yesterday. Front with Oh my God,
I
I can't think of his name, but it was, God, it's driving me insane. I'm going to have to go ahead.
Is it a
Tell me your
comedy?
story.
Sorry. But no, so he plays John Glenn, and they helped
That's
to get
right.
him into space. He's very cute. Oh, he was also in Scream Queens. It was that Ryan Murphy show with Leah Michele and Nick Jonas. He always
Ryan
wanted to
Murphy
climb
just
in.
Probably where
He
he
always
looks
weird.
familiar.
He always wanted to climb into. Wait, I'm thinking of someone else. I take this
Okay.
all back. This
I'm
is
like,
not Tom Happer. This is the guy in the new Top Gun. I take
Oh,
it
never
back,
mind.
guys. I'm so sorry.
Where
No,
are
wait,
the
the
receipts?
movie that I was talking about, Taraji Henson, is The Best of Enemies. And it's about like how black school in North Carolina like burns down, and then the other main guy, who is Sam Rockwell, like is like a Nazi and like runs the KKK, and they have to work together on like bringing the schools on. And it was so, and I didn't know it was like a true story. I didn't know anything about it, and then I was just on Wikipedia download. Anyway, get back to your Umbrella Academy. We're spiraling.
And I apologize so much. Tom Hopper, I follow him on Instagram. He's super cute and adorable, does all these backyard exercises, but I'm severely confusing him with someone else. So
Yes,
I apologize.
he is
I don't know
I
what
was
else
like-
Tom Hopper's been in.
Okay, so he looks like he's been in like several like
So glad I got this
TV
receipt.
shows. Anyways, I'm not going to go through all the cast because they're all fairly relatively new. They've probably been in small things. Definitely the biggest star is Ellen Page, but also it has Kate Walsh in it, and she plays like the supervillain bitch, and she's fantastic.
Oh, she plays a great bitch, though. She was a great bitch on Grey's Anatomy before you fell in love with her.
But she's like that. She's the type of bitch that's like, you kind of like her a lot, but she'll just turn like on a dime.
Kate Walsh is one of my favorite little actresses because like you hated her so much as Dr. Addison Montgomery Shepherd. And you just hated her. And then all of a sudden, somewhere in like season 3, you were like, "Oh, Edison, I love you so much." You're like, when did this happen? When did I turn?
She was
you were
like,
the worst.
I'm leaving, and I got my own spinoff.
Right, then
she's
she
such
went
a
to
great
private
actress.
practice.
Yeah, love her. But
So
yeah.
season 1 also had my girl Mary J. Blige in it.
Yes,
so-
family affair.
Mary J. plays like an assassin, and who is basically working for the Kate Walsh
Totally see
character. It's fantastic. She's wonderful in him.
She's a badass bitch in it.
She is. But season 1 has one of the brothers of the 7 kids is gay. He like comes out basically to his whole family. He falls in love with this guy, and there's a whole lot of like story I don't want to tell because it's spoilers, but that's great. But then in season 2, I don't want to spoil anything in, but another one of the siblings has a same-sex relationship. So they're all kind of working in there. They're getting their gay on.
I appreciate a show that gets their gay on.
Right. There's a lot of like, it's a very dark comedy show. There's a lot of blood and gore, but they do it. It's a comic book basically. So the way they show it is it's very artsy. Like the blood will be slow motion, and it'll even hit the screen sometimes and just kind of like trickle down. It's very artsy, but it's so good.
You had me until all of this artsy stuff.
So I will say season 2 was not nearly as gory as season 1. I felt like season 1, like every 5 minutes, somebody's head was getting cut off, or they were shooting somebody, or something. But
no animals die, right? Because then I'm not watching it.
Well,
if they kill a dog, you need to tell me right now.
No,
I'm not watching
no,
it.
there's no dead dogs that I know of. But one of the characters is a chimpanzee. So the
He's
father,
computer animated though, Eric. He's computer animated.
right? So the father kind of like shoots up this chimp with some secret serum, and he basically like gets smart and can talk and interacts with the family. He's like he becomes like the patriarch of the family because the dad gets so distant from the kids that he becomes like their father figure. So highly recommended.
I'll give it a couple episodes because I have literally nothing to watch.
Well, and I was kind of iffy about it too, Eric, because it felt like a little like sometimes those graphic novels, which are like adult comic books, they don't always hold me. But I will say, like, the casting is really great. The girl that plays she's the other. There's Ellen Page and there's another girl.
Allison. So she plays Allison. Her name is Emmy Raver Lampman.
Beautiful, just
gorgeous,
beautiful. Like she biracial?
I think she's biracial. Yeah,
and she's just beautiful. And she's got a really good storyline that I really liked in it. But like in the very first episode, they do this like ode to "I Think We're Alone Now" by Tiffany, and I was like, okay, I'm here for
Wait
this.
a minute. So it's like a Glee superhero movie comic
no,
book?
they don't
sing. They don't sing.
They
It was
dance.
just they dance, and they just like, because it was like when they're all back in the house, and they're like, oh, the last time we were out here was when we were kids back in like 1989 or whatever, and they just like start, and it's just like they're all just dancing it out. It's just really
It's
fun.
cute because they're back in their childhood rooms in their old house, and everyone's in their separate rooms, and one of them starts to play "I Think We're Alone Now," and they can all hear it. So they're all just kind of in their rooms by themselves, and they're all dancing it out.
Yeah.
And you even think like the most macho of the characters, like he is dancing it out. Like,
And the one that I think he must be Hispanic of origin, the one that's kind of like a ninja guy.
Diego.
Diego.
Yes.
Serve me.
There's some lookers. There are some lookers in it, and they're shirtless often.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
It is a little superhero-y, so
Right.
I'll report back in season 2.
There's also a lot of time travel involved, so you have to pay attention because
which I'm not a fan of. That's why.
So should I watch like
Back to the Future
season 1 and then season 3, but not season 2?
you mean like Back to the Future? So
I just got that.
So
Burn, David.
I will say season 2, again, not really much of a spoiler, but they are in the 60s. Like the entire season is in the 60s. So it's a really good take, especially when you have Allison, who is biracial, and because she's a badass bitch. And like in the present time, she's kind of a little bit of a celebrity. So she's used to getting her way. So it was a big character develop for her to be in the 60s and she like runs into a restaurant and the guy points at a sign. It's like whites only.
Oh,
and she's like, what is going on? So it's a really good show. I recommend it. Especially if you love comic books and action and
which I do.
Superheroes. Obviously.
Obviously. There was some clip. I was watching something the other day and they were talking about Captain America and they were like, so you don't think Captain America's cute?
You mean America's ass?
Are you an American?
I was going to say anything with, handsome men with six packs and tight fitting spandex clothes, sign me up for.
Josh was all at the wrestling matches in high school. Like, yeah.
Go, sports, go. Yay. Put him
Here's
down.
your towel.
When do they bring out the Jello for the wrestling?
Oh, no, I fell over. Pin me down. No.
Oops.
But yeah, so I'm super excited to see what season 2 is. Spencer's never seen it either, so I think we're gonna have to watch season 1 first, which is good for a little refresher.
Yeah. I watched season 1 twice. I watched it once by myself and then binged it quickly, then realized it was a good show, so then I made Steve watch it. He loved it, and we both watched season 2 within a couple days of it coming out. So
I'll give it a shot.
All right.
Highly recommended.
Well, thank you for that little piece of TV review, Clarence.
Thanks, Joshua.
And we're going to take a quick break, refill our glasses, and when we come back, you're going to hear about the latest
We're
celebrity
going to have
scandal.
a little fun today.
Okay.
Oh. All right, we'll be right back.
You talk.
And we are back. You're back with the gayest podcast ever. And up next, we're going to hear about the latest ongoings and drama with America's favorite TV show. So, Eric, I'll just turn it over to you.
Yes, I'm so sad. I was so sad when I read it. So there's a lot of news today about Ellen. Like, it's been going on the past couple days. A couple of her staff they're accusing show producers of sexual misconduct. There's 4 of them. There's Ed Glavin, Mary Connolly, Andy Lasser, and Kevin Lamont, which are her 4 executive producers. So they have had a couple reports of several members of the executive staff have sexual misconduct. The one was accused of grabbing another man's penis, groping production assistants, inappropriate comments were made at the holiday party, forceful advances. They've all come out and denied it, of course, and Ellen has issued statements of, she did not know this was happening. Now, some celebrities like Brad Garrett and Leah Thompson are commenting that, they've witnessed this firsthand, and, Ellen's not the nicest person. Obviously, her wife Portia released a statement today, I stand by Ellen, and like Katy Perry released something that they stand by. So just all this stuff, and I just think for all the good that Ellen does in the world, and all the joy that she tries to bring, I don't really think that she probably knew a lot of this was going on. But I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? I'm sure you've heard something about it.
Yeah, I've read a little bit about it, not a whole lot, because, like you said, it is sad because Ellen is our favorite, America's favorite talk show host, and everyone loves her. And at least on the show, she does so much good for people, and she's always donating funds and money to people and bringing people on. So it's sad to hear, but on the other side too, if someone who's involved, that's her show. She has to see things, especially if it's at a Christmas party. Is she not there? I don't know. I have a hard time believing that she's not seen any of it. So that's just my take.
Yeah, she said, came out and said, when she hosted the Oscars years ago, that she didn't even say hi to him. So everyone that she's ever mistreated or flipped off on the freeway right now is giving an interview because everyone's just trying to smear her, I just think it's turning into a little bit of a smear campaign. I don't disagree that she probably didn't see or witness some things. And we've all had bad days at work, and I'm sure that she's probably yelled in a meeting or two. They've been on the show since 2003.
Right.
So, yeah, because I was thinking, how long is it? 17 years, right?
Yeah.
17 years. And these 4 gentlemen are very high up, correct? They're
one's a woman.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
it's
Andy,
3 men and a woman.
Okay. Andy is actually he's been on her quarantine show. He's been
Andy's the camera guy who I love.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I'm terrible. I haven't read a whole bunch about this. I've heard it in the media, but I haven't done a deep dive. Clearly, I thought it was 4 men, and here it's 3 men and 1 woman. But have the people who've accused them? Didn't they say it's been going on for years?
Yes, it's been going on for a while, but now everyone that's ever worked there is coming out of the woodwork. Anyone that's been fired is coming out of the woodwork and saying it's just crazy. Brad Garrett's statement was sorry, but it comes from the top. And then I know 1 or more that were treated horrible by her. Leah Thompson said, true story it is. But, a lot of people gave Ellen backlash, when the Kevin Hart thing happened with the Oscars and he released those homophobic tweets, and she was like, I still think you should do it, and, just forget all the haters. She got a lot of crap for that. When she was at the Dallas Cowboy football game with George Bush, she caught a lot of crap for that.
Yeah, we talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah, it's a lot. She, literally, and, we've talked about this. When you're driving down the freeway and someone cuts you off, if you're Ellen, you can't be like, F you, scream in your car.
Yeah. And I was just, and I, for me, it's funny, I think for the longest time, Ellen was just held in this highest esteem. No one could touch Ellen. She was just the nicest. She was the friendliest. And it was so great for the LGBT community. Oh my gosh, the queer community to have such a big popular figure out there that was doing good and was being well received. And like, you know, I remember when she got the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Barack, and, you know, she was crying. I mean, there wouldn't be gays on TV like there are today without Ellen. So I think, you know, she's a huge trailblazer. We have to say that first. But I remember when I think it was back a couple of years ago, maybe, when Dakota Johnson was on her show, and then that real weird.
We talked about this too. Yeah.
About the birthday party.
Exactly. And it just for me kind of shattered like this image that I had of Ellen, because it was so weird and awkward and it didn't feel.
That was recent, wasn't that? That was this year.
I think was it 2018?
Last year. It was in the past couple of years, yeah.
Well, yeah, where she was like, actually, Ellen, you were invited. And like, Ellen looked at her producer.
She literally says, that's not true. And like, no one else had ever called Ellen out.
When you saw her face change.
Yeah. And I think that kind of put a little crack in the dome, and people have been chipping away at it more and more, because when you are on top, everyone wants to bring you down. That's just the way it is. And I'm not giving her a pass by any means, because I do think that, you know, you, especially as the showrunner, you know, should be aware of the environment in which everyone is, you know, operating. But at the exact same time, like, you put these VPs and these directors and the producers on the front line to help weed out. So I would hope that if she saw something, she wouldn't tolerate it, because I'm sure as not only a woman, but a queer woman, she's experienced, you know, her own misgivings on sets back in the 90s. And
her statement pretty much said something like the place of happiness that she promised it would be, and she's disappointed to learn that this has not been the case.
Right. And there's a little bit of self-preservation that we all have, especially once we're doing well in our careers. We want to continue that. We want to make sure that we make it to the top. Sometimes it's easy to kind of turn the other cheek to unethical things.
Or you have enough people working for you that you like maybe don't see it. Like, she may just come on and do her little segments, and that, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because you're exactly right. Like, you can't hold like a CEO responsible for something that happens in like a factory. Like, like, I'm sure that there are checks, and if you're a good CEO, you put checks and balances in there, that if it's something like a repeat action or something that's super horrendous, it does get to you. But at the end of the day, like, you put directors and VPs and managers in place, and you put safeguards in place, you know, whether it be reporting modules or anonymous tip line, whatever, to make sure that, you know, it's happening and it's being addressed. And I think if anything comes out of, you know, the post Me Too culture, you know, everything that's kind of going on in the world, that it's that we need to create these spaces where people feel that they can report, and that it will be taken seriously and it'll be investigated, and that they don't have to live in fear of losing their job. I mean, I know how cutthroat the job market is in the Midwest. I can't even imagine what it's like in LA or in New York, you know, when there's just so small of a pool of candidates and jobs. So I just think we have to be mindful. You have to be appropriate, respectful. I don't know.
Right. And it always seems like that it just takes that first person to come out, and then all of a sudden everyone starts coming out of the woodworks. And so you have to stop and think, well, why did no one else? Why did you wait till someone else brought this up before you reported it? And that's the culture that.
Look how long it took for everyone to come out, and then as soon as somebody talked about Bill Cosby, it was like a waterfall.
Right, and that's the culture that we have to get through. Is we have to make sure that everyone's comfortable with reporting these situations, because it shouldn't take you to sit back and wait to report an issue for somebody else to do it. If something happens, we should have a cultural built up in our companies that I'm comfortable with bringing this up when it happened. I don't have to wait until someone else brings it up, so I'm not the only person.
Yeah, but I also think that it's important that, like, sometimes, you know, when we have cultures in place where it doesn't create an environment where you feel like you can say something or do something, you know, you look at like Stonewall, When the first day of, the riots outside of the inn, it was, 200 people. And by the sixth day of the protest, there was thousands. Because sometimes it just takes one person to stand up and be like, no more. And then other people feel empowered by them to sell their truth. And I think that if we all just made an effort to create environments where everyone's truth is valid and I think we wouldn't have this whole conversation of like, they're all coming out of the millwork now. Like,
well, it's also that I think that we as like, people also put celebrities and politicians and athletes on this pedestal that you 100%. See this image of them on TV or they posted on their Twitter or something, and you're like, oh, I think I know them. Like, and this is how they should be. And then, you catch them on a bad day where maybe, they stubbed their toe and spilled their morning coffee on them and they're just having a shit day. And like, no, I don't want to take a photo with you. Like, I'm just not in the mood. Like,
I think the greatest thing that happened to Reese Witherspoon's career is that arrest. Right. Because it shattered that good girl, Elle Woods, Sweet Home Alabama, and then she was able to start doing more because people didn't have this image of her always being so sweet, so kind, so whatever. They're like, oh, she's a real person too. She gets mad, she gets pissed off, she gets drunk, and then all of a sudden she was like, well, I can do whatever the fuck I want now, and she does, and she got her Oscar and her Emmys, and she's living her best life. But I think you're exactly right that we put these on this pedestal and in this box, and the second that they do anything outside of it,
and then the piranha come out, dude. As soon as they see some blood in the water, everyone's coming out because, I'm sorry, money changes people, and people see a chance to get a payout or something, they're going to try and exploit that as much as they can.
Well, it's kind of a catch-22. Celebrities, we put them on this pedestal, and there are times when we're like, hey, listen, you asked for this life, you work for this, you should be held to a higher responsibility. But then also in today's world where celebrities are on Instagrams and Twitters and we're seeing their more real life, we can't have it both ways. We can't put them up here and expect them to be superheroes, but then expect them to be like, oh, well, they are the average person too. There has to be a middle ground.
I will never forget this moment when Natasha Richardson died, and Julie from Nip Tuck and Liam Neeson were there, and they were all at the funeral, and the paparazzi were all there. Literally, Vanessa Redgrave and Julie Richardson and Liam Neeson, they all came and stood and took family photos for the paparazzi. Can you guys just get your pictures and get the hell out of here and just let us have our day? And I was like, I mean, it sucks. But if you do something like that, they might just leave you alone.
Right. Heartbreaking. It's a weird line. It's a fine line. It's
right.
Yeah. And I would hate, and this is,
I feel like Ellen does a lot of good in the world. I feel like she changes a lot of people's lives. So I really hope this isn't the end of her, or did they take away her talk show or anything like that.
Well, and I think she's been stepping down slowly from her talk show. I think that's why
that 20 years was kind of her mark, and she's I mean, she doesn't need anything else. Her and Portia are happy. She's got Portia bought her a zoo or some shit. I don't know.
The gorilla conservative in Africa.
Well, and they've been prepping our girl Kelly, who we love and we talk about on the podcast all the time. But they're kind of promoting her to be that step-in, fill-in.
All right, so know who the rumor mill that I heard today is set to replace her, because of course, and this is I was oh, of course we already have people replacing her. This is the cancel culture we live in. I heard Kristen Bell.
Well, she's fantastic. I love her.
She's from Michigan.
She's from Michigan.
She's from Huntington Woods.
We support Kristen Bell and her husband from Milford, Dak Shepard.
Yes. Oh my gosh. There's a little big boy right over by us that Dak Shepard used to take his dad to all of the time. And I'm super, I was like, oh, I would love that for her.
Sorry. I'm so excited about it. They just rented a little camper in the middle of nowhere in California. And she was taking pictures. She was like, Mommy and Daddy had a little weekend getaway. And they're just standing there like normal people, and I want to be their friends and hang out with them.
I thought you were about to be like butt ass naked. I was like, where?
No, but there was the Instagram post once that I swear they had to be high or something. Because
Yes,
they're
you
both
sent it to
laying
me.
in
They
bed.
totally took an edible or something.
They were laying in bed, and they were both on their phones, and then they figured out how to do the Instagram like together, and so like they're getting different angles. And at one point, Kristen thought his dick was exposed, and she was like, oh, "Babe, did I just?" It was hilarious.
Yeah,
Their family's so cute, little Lincoln and Delta and Dax and Kristen.
And I love that they just like they're very much Kristen Bell was the spearhead of that. Like, don't paparazzi don't take photos of my kids, and
Right.
I won't show photos of my kids. They didn't sign up for this.
You know who
lifestyle.
their besties are? Ashton and Mila.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to go to that dinner party? I want to go to that dinner.
Right. All four of them were on Ellen.
Oh.
But yeah, so we'll keep you all updated in season 2 of the Gayest Podcast over what's happening with Ellen and all of that. But I just really hope that the people who were, assaulted or taken advantage of get justice, and that whoever, if they do an investigation, they find someone's responsible or took inappropriate actions, it's handled appropriately. I'm all about justice these days.
And also, in the words of Ellen, with everything going on in the world and all the Karen Unhinged videos Josh makes me watch, be kind to one another. Be kind to each other,
right.
please.
You don't know where what shoes they're in or what house they've been in.
What kind of day they had.
What kind of day. So just be kind. I always like to say if like someone cuts me off, I'm always like, maybe they're on the way to the hospital because their wife's in labor. Like I try and like make a good story about it so I'm not as like angry at them. But I was like, ugh.
Then you see them like eating a Choquito when you pull up at 7-Eleven.
Right.
You're like, oh.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get in the first in line to Starbucks.
Yeah, but that was really good. Thanks for bringing us up to speed, Eric. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Miss Taylor Swift. Whoop, whoop. Refill your glasses, boys.
I love the way that you talk.
And we're back. And first, before I jump into my topic, I just want to say the guy I was thinking of earlier was named Glenn Powell. He was the guy from Hidden Figures and Scream Queens. So I'm very sorry, Tom Hopper. You're beautiful. Glenn Powell, you're also beautiful.
Tom Hopper's my favorite actor now just because of that receipt.
Whatevs. But yes, love you both. Mean it.
Oh my God, Tom Hopper was in Game of Thrones. Sorry.
Oh, he was Rickon or Dickon. Yeah.
He was on.
Yeah.
Was that the weird little sable guy?
No, he was the hot knight when Danny
the
started
crazy
going
guy
crazy.
that Sansa married?
No.
No.
He was a very minor. All right, just listen for 1 second. He was a very minor character in like the second to last season when Dany started going crazy, and she was like, "Bend the knee, or I'll literally light you all up." And so she lit them all up. He was like the hot knight that was.
He was a Tarly.
Lord.
Yeah, Tarly.
Yeah. Okay, I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I would never be able to pick him out.
Okay, so sorry for that little sidebar. And Game of Thrones, we could segue. No, there's no way I can segue next into this. But
Oh God, please, no prequel. Please.
So, in all the craziness that is 2020, that is COVID, it was so dark and it was so despairing that we had to turn to one woman to save us all. And that one woman is Taylor Swift. And she...
Why do I feel like we've talked about Taylor Swift 9 times this year?
Because we have.
So you want to know something even funnier? So it actually makes perfect sense why we did. Because, Taylor Swift released her 8th studio album, Folklore, on July 24th, 2020. And it literally, Lover, her last album, was released 11 months earlier in August of 2019 when we started the podcast.
I know. I got the text messages at 7:30 a.m. New album at midnight. I'm like,
Oh my God.
11 hours away.
We got 16 hours notice. She literally posted 16 hours like, get ready, Swifties. We're going to do this.
That is kind of ironic, though, that the timeline of that.
Oh, so Taylor Swift is like the beginning of our chapter and the end of our chapter. So it's very fitting.
What if Miley and Liam got back together?
Oh my gosh. We could say 2020 now. We could do it. We can do it. But yes, so I had 16 hours to get ready for a new Taylor Swift album. I had to put the Dixie Chicks on hold, re-listen to all the old albums, comb through all the social media Instagram posts to figure out what was going on, what was happening. It was a very crazy Thursday.
I have to ask, is there a documentary? Are we going to see a documentary?
Fingers crossed.
Producer Chad is real excited.
Like, literally, that was the first thing I thought of. I go, please, God, no, not another documentary.
So good, so good. If you haven't watched Miss Americana,
hang out with Chad on any random Saturday night. Make you watch it.
Is a good documentary.
Do you have any
It's
plans from
amazing.
2:30 a.m. till 4:30 a.m.?
Yeah, you'll have to pause for cry breaks
I
if you watch it with Chad.
I have been a victim of Chad at 3 a.m. being like, let's start the documentary. And then the next thing I knew, the sun was coming up and I was getting fresh donuts and coffee to take to Spencer.
Almost there, yeah.
It was literally the craziest Friday night of my life. I can't believe we stayed up and watched that documentary at 3 a.m.
I literally got through like a half hour of it and I was like, I'm going home.
And the worst part was, me and Chad had both already seen it multiple times before we decided to watch it at 3 a.m. But
Oh my God.
I digress.
I think I made it through 3 cries with Chad, so that's about an hour into it.
Let's take and tell time.
So what are your thoughts? I've heard I've heard a couple songs, but I'm not like a Taylor person.
Yeah. So the whole thing was written and recorded during COVID-19. So that right there should tell you how deep and dark it is.
Well, what else did the bitch have to do? Nothing.
Right? And I just want to say to all you other musicians, celebrities, writers, if Taylor Swift can write and record an entire album that's this good, you can, George R.R. Martin, you can finish your Game of Thrones book. Adele, you can put out a new album.
You did bring back the Game of
time
Thrones.
to reflect. They're just taking this time to reflect.
They are. Maybe take this time.
You're eating
to reflect
Doritos on the couch like the rest of us. Just say you're being lazy.
Maybe take this time to reflect on your art and put it out for me to consume. Because I'm running out of shit to listen to. But anyways, so it's very, very different than any other album she's ever done. It's very like indie, folk, art rock.
Are we talking about Britney's Instagram post or Taylor's new CD?
No,
That's
we're talking
twirls.
about Taylor.
Twirl.
So I will say this. I did not like it the first listen. I literally woke up Friday morning at 6 a.m., put on my walking shoes, and went for a walk through the neighborhood. And I was like, I'm going to get a good listen before I go to work.
Put on my walking shoes. Yes, I love
Josh,
that.
I cannot right now.
Oh, literally. And it was the saddest walk of my entire life. I literally got through 13 songs or 16. I got through 13. I was like, I'm just going to go home, make a cup of coffee, and go to work because I think that'll bring more joy than what I'm listening to right now. And so the other thing with Taylor Swift, and this has happened on every album, the first single, the first song, it's never, ever what I'm expecting. So I immediately don't like it because I'm like, well, this is what I was expecting. But then as you listen and you devour and you realize how good it is, and I love it, just like I've loved everything else that she's done.
So maybe that's it. I've only listened to it once, and I did not like it.
Oh,
so I had to give it a second. I would give it a second then.
I would venture
It's like
to guess.
Shit Freaks, DJ. You just got to give it some time.
I would venture to guess that at the end of the year, when Spotify does a year in review, Taylor Swift will be my most listened to artist because I've probably had it on nonstop since it's came out now.
It's
I've
very
listened to it-
slow.
Is it just slow? Like, what's the problem?
Yes,
Are you guys looking
It
for
is
more upbeat?
slow.
No, and so I also love me a ballad.
Right, but like, were you happy during COVID?
No. Well, I mean,
No, we all had our moments. It was like this, but most of the time
It was a roller
like,
coaster.
It was very dark, and you're
coaster.
like, should I wear basketball shorts or sweats today?
Yeah.
Yes. Or either.
Yeah.
But so it's definitely like some down-tempo ballads, but it's also very like earthy and ethereal, elegant. It's like all these different.
Ethereal.
It is like if you listen to it, and so
He's got a thesaurus in front of him.
Right. I will say
Girl,
there are.
I scored really well on my verbal on the SATs.
I'm sure
It was
you
the
did.
Math where I struggled because I'm gay and gays can't do math.
Hey, I do math for a living, and I'm gay. Rude.
I will say that.
Honey, you weren't for the
Oh my
longest time though. maybe you didn't do that till after you got married.
It took her 2 tries. It's fine. I will say some of the lyrics, though, are really, really deep and good. Like the only time I listened to it, I would be like, "Oh, did she just say that? Wow, that's
Well,
really."
is she even dating
nice.
anybody? Did she break up with anybody recently? Like
Her and Joe have been together for 2+ years now. They're in love. They quarantine together, and there is Joe
What's his name?
Alwyn. Joe Alwyn.
is he somebody?
And
He's who Lover
he does a
did. She wrote
duet.
Lover for Joe.
No, but like he does. Is he like a celebrity or like a nobody?
He's so Wikipedia called him a British actor, but he might have been an extra on like Harry Potter, Doctor Who, or something. I don't know.
Let's find out. We'll find this out.
So no, they're very much in love, and there is a pseudonym on the album because she wrote or co-wrote all the songs per use because she's Taylor Swift and amazing with Jack Antonoff and then the guy from The National. And I've never heard of The National, but they're apparently this like pop indie band and they're really good. And she met him at Saturday Night Live back in 2014 and they started a friendship. And he didn't tell his family that he was recording this album with Taylor Swift, especially his daughter, because she was like, no one can know about this. Like it's top secret. So literally until like it came out, then he told his daughter, P.S. I've been working with Taylor Swift for the last 4 or 5 months. And she just like died.
Tell that daughter to call me because that's how I felt when my dad told me he gave Lady Gaga a tour of Henry Ford Museum. And he was like, that Gaga person you like and her fiance came to the museum? I showed them around. I'm like, what?
Lady Gaga?
I was like, I don't think we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, but so the album is getting rave reviews from critics. Critics are loving it. And it's also sold 1.3 million albums in one day. It's already sold 2 million albums. It's
Okay, but is that
clearly
just because she's like Taylor Swift? Like if you went to a concert, CJ and Josh, this is both for you. Chad, okay, yes, you too. If you went to a concert and like Taylor Swift was like playing this new album, the whole concert, would you be mad that you went to the concert?
If it was at Ford Field, yes.
Yes.
If it was at like the Fox
Yeah.
Theater or
Okay, if it was a very intimate
venue, give me the venue too, honey.
like we need a round here, so we're all sitting around the stage and she's with a guitar and a piano. Yes,
oh
I
yeah,
can deal
if
with
it
that.
was at like the Fillmore, it would be such a cool, intimate vibe. I would just be feeling it. You know, you take an edible, you have a glass of wine, you just like are in it. But yeah, it's not an album that you can play at Ford Field. Like the Reputation, like the Lover album, where it's got this pop
Right.
and this dancers and
I've only
changes.
heard like 2 of the songs on the radio, like, and it's not
So
like I kind of turned it off halfway through, like next.
they're definitely down-tempo ballads. It's not for everyone. I'm not going to say it is. But she is now the first artist ever in Billboard history to have the album and the song debut at #1 at the exact same time. So Cardigan is the #1 song in the country, and Folklore is the #1 album in the country. First
What's
artist ever
Cardigan
to do
about?
that.
What's Cardigan about?
Cardigan is the lead
It's about my
single.
new cardigan.
First of all, stop trying to push fall, okay? Relax.
Well, and to release the album, this is how smart she is. She sent a cardigan and the album to like all these celebrities. So like all the Queer Eye guys got one. Kelsey Ballerini.
Why didn't we get one? We
know.
I
promoted her.
would love to videograph you guys getting a fucking album from Taylor Swift wrapped in a fucking.
Would this be like the orange box that people got?
like Sweet
it's-
16? When
It's
got
like a
it
little
for the birthday
little
party?
cardigan instead of that giant orange box. That was it. Beyonce sent that out. Who did that?
I don't know what the orange box
You
is.
don't
Is that
know if
Katy
you-
Perry?
What's in the
Katy
box?
Perry did something weird.
Who sent out the giant orange box to people? I thought it was Beyonce, but I'll Google this.
If it's Kevin Spacey and you're Brad Pitt, you don't want to open the box.
No. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Oh, 7. I
It's
just got
Gwyneth
there.
Paltrow's head.
Oh. Well, I guess you are saying on cue it's very dark, but no. So Cardigan. So the next song that they're going to push to top 40 radio is "Exile," which is the duet with Bon Iver, who is again more part of that alt rock indie crew, and then they're going to push "Betty" to country radio. And "Betty" is the song that is written about. Well, I should say it's
Gosling
written
and
about
Blake Lively's third daughter. Which did you catch all that tea today?
So Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, their name of their third daughter that had not been previously disclosed is Betty. And that is, Taylor Swift was like given permission to release that because in the song, she also references James and Inez, which are their other 2 daughters.
And they donated Blake and Ryan donated like $25,000 to the NAACP today. Because the venue they got married that was filmed at the Notebook location was a plantation.
They said
this, and they put out this big long statement of how they want to educate themselves and they want their daughters. And they are, God, if anything ever happens to them, I will be devastated.
Well, and I don't know if you also heard Ryan Reynolds started a company that on all of his films requires like anyone who's like a minority or a person of color can get on the job training and learn how to be a camera assistant, a gaffer, a sound tech, whatever.
Oh, so maybe they want to do something else.
Yeah, so he's trying to provide opportunities for people who might
so they're
not have been able
they're
to.
Close with everybody, like Taylor.
They're the gift that keeps on giving.
It's that little Rhode Island.
Speaking of gifts, I did find the orange box. It was Beyonce. So she sent out the various celebrities, and it had swag from her Ivy Park, I guess was like a clothing line.
Yeah, line.
So here's, Eric, your favorite. Reese Witherspoon received one.
Yes, Reese Witherspoon.
Wait, it's a giant box.
It's a giant orange box.
I mean, Beyonce literally sends you a giant orange box. You're like, what's in the box?
So I forget who the celebrity
was. Blue Ivy. You get one.
I think Chrissy Teigen and John Legend were driving down their driveway, and they're like, why is there a giant orange box in our driveway? And it was Beyonce sent them like this big swag box, and it's called Big Orange Box.
How did all of these giant boxes get past security protocol for someone like Reese Witherspoon, someone like John Legend, Chrissy Teigen?
Hey, Beyonce dropped this off.
Unless it's personally Beyonce at the door, if I'm the security guard, I'm going to
You know damn well that if you found out a package came to your house and it was from Beyonce and your security guard turned it away, you know damn well that security guard would be fired the next day if you found out it was from Beyonce.
Yeah, suddenly Ellen knows all about that one, doesn't she? Ooh.
I mean, if it's
CJ, too soon.
But
just bringing it back full circle.
What's in the box?
Yeah. Well, and Taylor Swift is a person who like totally stood up for like equal rights because that radio show host that grabbed her butt and she was like, no, we're taking him to court. And she got that dollar.
Taylor Swift can do some like shade on the red carpet when she was like, every guy here wants to take you home or something. She's like, I'm going home by myself tonight.
I'm a Grammy Award winner. I don't need to go home with anyone else.
She was like, I imagine you're going home with more than just these awards, right? Like some guys. No, I'm going home by myself.
Well, look what happens when she's quarantined with the guy that she loves. You get this album.
Yeah, it's so good. It's going to win her all the Grammys.
Oh, I thought we were like going the opposite way. But whatever.
Do you think this is like her?
Everyone's I read one article and it's because she's 30 and she's finally coming in her own, and everyone's calling it like her album that's going to elevate her to the next level. Like her Stevie Wonder Keys in the Song of Life, they compared it to, like very much like this is going to take her to the next level because she was able in this album to finally stop writing about her life. She was writing about other people's lives. And she proved herself to be a really, really great storyteller because the whole thing about folklore and the whole theme of the album is stories from other people's point of view. And the lyrics in it are just so good. And I will say, so clearly Spencer is
impartial. Like,
That's a great way to put it. That doesn't sound as bad as I was going to phrase it. So I've been listening to it nonstop, and he's just like, "Oh, it's nice that you've been listening to the same song over and over and over again." And I was like, "If you listen to the lyrics, you would know they're all very different."
yeah.
But
Josh was that teenager who would have drove me insane. Your poor parents.
yeah, probably. That's probably why. Oh, no, I was the last one. Tina and Roger realized they hit this one. I'm like, "We're good. We did it. He's perfect."
Perfect.
Perfect. She thinks highly of herself right now.
Right.
Rosé all day. But yeah, so I really think you should listen to it. You know, it was a great rainy weekend. You could have listened to it then. It would have fit
Maybe
the
I'll
mood.
take a 13-song walk in the morning. I'll let you know, and I'll report back.
Yeah, and like I said, it's definitely
Did you listen to the thing the whole way through?
I listened to the whole thing the morning of. I think I was off that day, so I just started immediately playing it on Sonos throughout the house. So Steve was forced to watch it too, or listen to it as well. But he kept going, "Is this the new Taylor Swift song? Are you repeating these songs? Is this not the last song? They're all very slow." And I'm like, "Yep, they're all slow so far."
He was trying to get in the mood to clean or something.
Right? No,
This makes
Let me go
sense.
take a nap.
It's
This
no Dua
makes-
Lipa.
This makes a lot of sense. Steve and Spencer must be on the same wavelength when it comes to music, because I also will come home and Spencer will just be like blaring Amy Grant. So Steve and Spencer connect on a real music level.
Dan's listening to either sports radio or NPR or anything that is just zero fun. So maybe he'll like the new Taylor Swift album.
The other day I was in the backyard with him and I was like, "Well, I'm not listening to talk radio right now." I go, "So we're going to put on some music." So I put on like some classic rock. I was like, "I'm going to mix it up for you, Dan." Like, and he's like, "I like this. I was trying." But yeah, so that's everything about the new Taylor Swift album, Folklore. Give it a spin. You know, watch
I'll
out.
give it a
album of
second
the year.
listen.
should.
Second listen, I'll go.
Maybe when I'm
maybe
trying
I'll-
to take a nap in the pool this weekend, I'll give it a listen.
I was going to say maybe I'll take an edible and just kind of like lay on the floor or something and listen to it.
Yeah, it would be such a cool.
Then an Amazon package is going to arrive for CJ. What's in the box?
Oh, tell me what's in the box.
I'm gonna drop off giant rainbow boxes to all
I'm
of your
going to put orange
houses.
boxes on your porches this weekend as a joke.
I can't
I
wait.
can't wait. I hope mine's filled with like claws and cheese.
It's going to be the new Taylor
Cheese.
Swift, sweetie.
Yeah,
I love
you had me
cheese.
at cheese. Yeah, I want a charcuterie board so badly.
Okay, well, so that's everything Taylor Swift. And we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to play a fun game, and then we'll wrap it up, get a drink. We're going to play a game. Be right back.
I love the way that you talk.
And we're back, and we thought that we would cap off the season 1 finale with a little game called Home Run or Strikeout, Hot or Not, MLB edition.
I love
And
it.
We're going to talk about the players, but we've also been posting YouTube videos. So if you actually want to see the players and see our beautiful faces, you should run over to our YouTube channel and subscribe today and watch all the videos. And then you can also see the hot players and you can see our beautiful faces. And as a special little bonus edition, we have invited producer Chad to come in. Say hello, Chad.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Can you see me? Am I being loud
Chad.
enough?
Oh, sorry, Chad.
Am I being loud enough? Hi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chad is when this all started out as us having some drinks and talking about podcasts, and Chad was like, "Well, I have a studio and we can do this," and we're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll book you guys sometime in like August," and he literally got us a date, and he introduced us to Ryan and Annie at Music Town Detroit, who are just two of the most fabulous human beings, and We cannot thank Chad, Ryan, and Annie enough for their support over the last year as we got this podcast up and running off the ground. So
and we can't wait to go back into the studio and see
Oh my
them.
God, I missed the studio.
I miss the studio too, but we love them so much, and we hope that they're doing well. And the other thing that we just really wanted, we're going to make Chad choose who's hot or not, but who Chad really thinks is hot is his brand new fiance. And we just want to give a little shout out to Chad and Chris, recently engaged. We love them so much.
Snaps for Chad and Chris.
Cheers, boys. Love you.
All the darkness and craziness in 2020. We're so glad to have something so amazing to look forward to in the future because we love Chris and Chad so much, and we're so happy that they found each other. So with that, we're going to make Chad choose who's hotter than the other one. No.
Welcome to your virtual bachelor party.
Oh,
Chad,
God.
what's in the box?
Yeah. For those of you who've been living under a rock, Major League Baseball came back last week, right? Last week was Major League Baseball's return. It's been hit or miss on whether or not they play or not due to the number of players getting COVID, which is a whole topic in itself. But so what I thought we would do, because we love playing games and we love looking at hot men, we combined the two of them to play hot or not, home run or strikeout, MLB edition. So it's just a bunch of hot guys that we're going to look at and judge. And I kind of made little baseball card statistics for all of them because
Of course
so
you did.
fancy.
I'm a judgy little bitch. So
Fancy. I love it.
is Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant is a Chicago Cub. He is 28. He is 6'5", 230 pounds, and his current salary is $18.6 million.
I love that you put their salary on.
Oh, yes, girl. I was
That
trying to
could be-
think.
First of all, anything's hot at
Yeah.
$18.6 million.
Yeah. They're
Right,
all hot.
You guys would laugh your ass off. When I first started putting this together for the stats, I had home runs and shit like that. And I was like, fuck that. That's not going to fit on the screen.
I mean, minus
I
the
just
age
want-
and the salary, he's my husband. So yeah, I think he's hot.
I mean, look at those baby blues. And so Chris Bryant helped the Chicago White Sox, the Chicago Cubs win the World Series. So I'm sure you got a huge payday for that. But so, Chris Bryant, hot or not?
Hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's saying no to Chris Bryant.
No.
I hate the way he spells Chris, but
It's like Jenner, our future president, 2024.
right?
I thought we were saying home run or strikeout.
Oh, home run.
It's a home run.
Home run.
Okay. Next is Bryce Harper.
Oh, that's
Home
a grand
run.
slam.
Home run.
That
Bryce
is a grand slam.
Bryce Harper is 27. He is 6'3", 220 pounds. And while I say his current salary is $10 million, you should know that prior to 2 or 3 years ago, Bryce Harper had the highest MLB contract of all time. And his whole contract is worth $200 million.
That picture on the left, is that not giving you a little Liam Hemsworth in the face?
Yes, that's what I was. Okay, the left picture is much
Yeah.
hotter than the right picture.
I
So-
just both.
But you should know that the one on the right is newer. So the
I don't
one on
care.
the left is a little older. And actually, his current hairstyle, it's really kind of longer, and I didn't like it, so I didn't
So
share it.
It's a COVID look. It's the
Hashtag
COVID look.
It's much
Yeah.
longer, but I love Bryce Harper. Home run, grand slam, agree,
Home run,
boys.
grand slam.
Home run.
I'm rounding those
Um,
bases twice.
Yes. And for those of you who, don't have your own internet, you're not on a work connection, you can find NSFW photos of Bryce Harper because I believe he did the ESPN body issue. So
And looking that up right
Can you
now.
text me those? Yeah, I'm like,
So
don't take a commercial break.
I believe you can find some very, very good photos of Bryce Harper.
Can that be in my big orange box when I come home?
right?
Hey, what's the Jimmy Fallon thing? We'll put your dick in a box.
Yeah, yes, you can.
All right. Up next is Mike Trout. Mike Trout is 28. He is 6'2". He is 235 pounds, and his salary is $33.25 million.
Christ.
And Mike Trout is the one that replaced Bryce Harper as the biggest MLB contract in history.
So he's got a very baby face.
Yeah,
But
I'm not into it. I'm not.
He's the
into it.
oldest one so far, and he's got such a baby face. But his salary, though, hello.
He's a little bit more
Home run.
muscular. He can hit those home runs like no other. And he's very, very popular. But I also agree that his baby face wasn't doing much for me. So that's why I put the photo of him in an action shot with the butt. Because, I thought we'd like to see all the angles.
Yeah, I mean, he could definitely hit my home run.
But I'm leaning towards no. For him making the most money, he's not.
I'm
fine
with Josh
with
on this
10
one.
million.
I mean, it may be like a double, but I'm calling you an Uber. You're going to get out at third.
Home run. Home run.
Home run.
Producer Chad likes it. All right. Up next is Adam Duvall. Adam Duvall's 31. He is 6'1", 205, and his salary is $510,000.
How does he make less than not even $500,000, basically?
You're out.
He doesn't hit the home runs like Mike Trout does.
Yeah, he is out. No thanks.
But you know what? Those dimples were kind of doing it for me in the photo. I thought he was kind of cute, but I'm agree. I mean,
I'm going to be honest.
I couldn't make them all super hot.
I'm going to be honest. All of them are probably most likely going to be a home run for me.
TJ, I'm going to agree. I'm going to say home run on all.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, this is a
look at
bad game for Producer Chad because he likes jacks.
He's got long dimples, too. I like
Those
that.
dimples are what got me, and that's what I was like, I really wanted to include because I am a sucker for good dimples.
So you like how his mouth expands, is what you're saying?
Yes. The answer
You know
is yes.
what? All right, so up next is Trevor Plouffe. And Trevor is 34.
Plouffe.
He is Plouffe.
Flop. Right to the ground. Nothing. Splat.
Well, he would have to take my last name for sure.
He is 6'2", 205, and his salary is $5.25 million. And I really, really, because I think he is pretty attractive, but all of the photos I could find were really unattractive. So this is the best I could do. So I tried to do an action shot, and because I think he's got a handsome face, but
He's got a nice little butt.
You're
So
out.
he's still a home run for me, but he's probably leaning toward the
Do you
strikeout.
know that CJ, he says home run because all that he thinks in his head is he gets a soaking tub and fucking room service the next day.
Yeah, right.
But
$5.5
$5
million.
million, yeah.
Can I
I
take
don't
the
think-
0.25?
I don't think Trevor's coming back. I think his career's kind of done. I think he's kind of done, but
So I'm seeing a trend here. The older the age, the less the salary. That's
Well,
not
it's
fair.
called-
You notice
Sports.
baseball players get paid insane amounts of money and they don't even get hit like football players and hockey players. Like
yeah, it's a non-contact sport. Yeah.
it's wow.
All right, so this is JD
Hi.
Martinez. JD Martinez used to be my Tiger. I loved it. I have a T-shirt for JD Martinez
Yeah.
when he was a Tiger.
I bet
he's
you do.
32.
I got a
he's,
poster.
he's 6'3". He's 220, and his salary is $23.75 million, which I did not know, and I'm so happy for him.
He checks
so-
every box in my book. Check.
Eric-
check.
Yeah.
Eric, the second I was like, and he
And then he
got
plays
a-
for Boston now, which I'll take.
I knew you'd love that.
Yeah, he could check my box.
He is just, and every photo he's usually smiling. And so when I found that serious photo of him, I was like, oh, but he's still so handsome.
Oh, I would have to
is-
take. I'd have to take producer Chad's kneecaps out if I thought you were talking to him.
Yeah, so he used to be a Tiger.
I broke out my
Yeah.
Tigers hat for this one.
Yeah, and he used to be a Tiger, and he was so good. And when they traded him, I was so upset. I think I even commented on his Instagram post that he had been traded and was like, thank you for all the hits. Because the number one thing I remember about JD Martinez, besides that award-winning smile and that cute butt, is that every time he was up to bat, he got on base. He is worth every penny of that salary.
I bet he does.
And I'm so glad that he got a world championship ring with the Red Sox because I follow him on Instagram. He's just a super sweet guy. And ladies, he's single.
Yeah.
Look at him on Instagram right now.
Yep. He loves to go out on a boat and take shirtless selfies. So
Perfect.
Yes, please.
Perfect.
okay, so home run here, right?
Home run.
All around the
Definitely.
board.
Yeah.
All the way around.
What's it called in baseball when all four of us get a home run?
Grand Slam.
Grand Slam, yeah.
Okay, that's fun.
I already said that with sports.
Okay.
And I'm following him.
Kevin Kiermaier. And I was shocked at how beautiful this man is. He is, girls, go down the rabbit hole. He is consistently ranked as one of the hottest MLB players, and I understand why.
Well,
So
I don't
the
even care that
eyes.
he's not worth $1 million. I don't even care.
It's those
So
eyes.
he's not very good at baseball apparently, but he is hot. So Kevin Kiermaier, Kiermaier. He's 30 years old. He's 6'1", 200 pounds, and he only makes $100,000 a year.
Time for team showers.
Those
Right.
blue eyes, like,
Right.
take
So
me
he
down to
looks-
Tampa
That
Bay.
smile. Yeah,
He looks
cute.
very politician, though, in the second photo. Like, he's given me, who's the Canadian Prime Minister? Justin Trudeau? Trudeau? Yeah, like,
I
he's
think
kind of
he's
giving
hotter
me
than
that
him.
look.
But yeah, no, I had a lot of photos for him, and these
Sorry,
are
I was
two-
lost in a moment there. I just
Yeah.
lived my best, like, Shane West, Mandy Moore moment.
Yeah, no, Kevin is a grand slam. If that's what the kids are calling it.
Yes.
Yeah,
You can
Yes.
spend the night, Kevin.
yes, girl, put a ring on it.
You could also eat breakfast the next morning. So
If you're cooking it, absolutely.
Yeah. I want you naked while you're cooking it, though.
I'm ordering it. So
All right. So this is my current tiger. This is Daniel Norris. He is 27. He is 6'2", 180 pounds, and his salary is $514. But he is legs for days. He loves a good haircut. He loves a beard. He lives in a van down by the river.
seriously, can we go
By
find
the
him?
Display River?
Yes, but he had cancer. He beat cancer.
Aw.
And he is one of our starting pitchers. But I just think I had to include a tiger, and I just think he's the dreamiest of all of them.
He looks a little dirty in the second photo, and I like it.
He looks a little
he's-
bit country boy for me, like country
Yeah.
star, and I am living for it. Yeah. No,
There's
Put
a-
him in a barn. Yeah.
There is a rumor that he shaves his beard with an axe.
huh.
What?
Yes, he's very hippie, natural, but he also is very lean and covered in hair. And if you Google MLB baseball player that lives in a van, you're going to see some very, very nice photos that I cannot include on this.
Well, he's on
this
Instagram.
podcast?
I'm following him on Instagram right
Yes,
now.
I follow him on
DJ has
Instagram.
literally never been such a diehard sports fan in his life.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, go sports
No,
ball.
see, sports can be fun.
He's
So
gonna
far,
be like when baseball opens back up. He's gonna be like, I gotta sell season tickets. Like,
that's
Yeah.
his van.
Oh,
Well,
yeah. I mean,
It's
the
ugly.
best. Well, he's very natural. He's very hippie, but
It
okay,
looks like
another
it's-
time, girls. Another time.
yeah, okay.
You know,
But,
it's
yeah,
great
that's-
when you find someone and you are already following them.
Well, he's
Yeah.
kind of homeless.
Good.
We've
We
got
got
a-
almost for $500,000.
I've got a spare bedroom.
That's like Matthew McConaughey. He's just living his best life when he used to, live on the beach in his trailer with his bongos and his
Playing
weed.
his
And
bongos.
He
Yeah.
met, what's her name?
Camilla.
Camilla. Yes, and they had the 3 kids, and now he's like living in Austin, Texas, in his sweet Lincoln with his infinity pool.
There's not one shirtless photo of him on Instagram, by the way.
No, I said you go Google the article. I'll send it to you. Okay, boys. So thanks for playing. That was my little game.
I loved it, but they
yeah.
were all grand slams for me.
I'm good. I'm glad. But
What? Like it's hard?
what, like it's hard to get into Harvard. Okay, but everyone out there, as we wrap up the last episode of season 1, it's been an amazing year. We love you all so much. And
Season 1 in the books, boys. Cheers!
Season 1's in the books.
Yes!
I have
Through a pandemic, we did it.
I have to make noise so that my video shows up, but I drew you a happy 1-year anniversary.
Yay! Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, Chad.
Yes. Everyone, thank you so much for listening, sorry. I don't know what's technical.
Like, someone's living their best Beyonce moment right now.
It's, you know what? Zoom, it will be the death of me, so it's just fitting that technical
hopefully no
difficulties.
more Zoom in 2021. I hope we get back in the studio.
Yes. But thank you guys so much for listening, for sharing, for downloading, for liking our posts, for retweeting us, for everything. We couldn't be more thankful for all of you out there, and we can't wait for season 2 to start up and us to bring you new pop culture tidbits and to laugh and drink along with us. And we just really hope that everyone stays safe out there and, just be kind and take care of one another and rate, review, and subscribe to Gayest Podcast Ever. But again, thank you guys so much. We love you, and we'll see you in season 2.
Season 2.
Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.
What do you guys? Bye.
Bye.
Bye.